Communication is a skill that you can learn. It's like riding a bicycle or typing. If you're willing to work at it, you can rapidly improve the quality of every part of your life. By Brian Tracy. Okay, so oral communication is the transference of information via speech. Despite technology that enable people to convey written messages instantaneously, verbal communication remains the chief mode of communication in today's education and career world. The ability to communicate information accurately, clearly, and as intended is a vital life skill and something that should not be overlooked. Today's webinar topic, Develop Oral Communication Skills with PowerPoint Presenter Coach, develops the communicator's credibility as a speaker and allows the audience to connect with us on a personal level. This webinar will detail the participants how PowerPoint Presenter Coach can be used to give students feedback on their oral presentation skills. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all, and a warm welcome to IELTS India's first webinar session in 2023. Let me start by saying a few words about my own self. Before that, I would also like thank all of you for coming here today. It's a great honor to have the opportunity to address such a distinguished audience gathered here today. Especially a grand welcome to our IELTA India board members and all our dear global educators of IELTA International. Me, Christina Michael from India, have over a total experience of more than 26 years of teaching. I'm also a communication skills trainer, and now currently I'm the administrative secretary in IELTA India. Now here we go with today's agenda. So this is the agenda for today. And this is our IELTA India's team. Okay, I'm going to give you a short profile about our speaker. Ms. Lynn Thomas, resident of Canada, is a secondary school teacher, English teacher, and digital lead learner in the Grand Array District School Board, and she is a Canadian national. She also serves as the president for the Educational Computing Organization of Ontario and is an active Microsoft Fellow and HP Training Fellow. Additionally, she is a T4 Canada Country Ambassador. She teaches SDGs ambassadors and leads the curriculum development team in English for the Kakuma Academy. Ms. Lynn usually writes blogs and actively tries to make learning relevant, incorporate mental wellness and social emotional learning, collaborate globally, and use educational technology to transform, engage, and increase accessibility and inclusivity. Next, dear audience, before we welcome today's speaker, we request all of you to mute yourselves to avoid disturbance for the other participants. Also, feel free to post your comments and inputs. They are much appreciated. Dear educators, I believe that by participating in this webinar together, let us accelerate the exchange of ideas and scaling up of good practices. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat box and our speaker will answer them at the end of the session. Now to start, here we go. Please join us in welcoming today's honorable speaker, Ms. Lynn Thomas. Ms. Lynn, the floor is all yours. Please give her a very, very warm hand.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. I'm very happy to be here with you. I realize for most of you, I believe it's evening. It's morning here in Canada, so happy sunshine. Let us get started talking about PowerPoint Presenter Coach. So you will notice here, I've started sharing, and I can.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to, there we go, start. So obviously you've already met me. Thank you again for that lovely introduction. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can see my Twitter handle there. And obviously we'll be talking about PowerPoint Presenter Coach and a Microsoft product. So you can include Microsoft in your tags. So today we're going to talk about why fluency is key in language and learning expression. Our most important factor is we'll be exploring the use of PowerPoint Presenter Coach, also now known as Speaker Coach. So they're kind of interchangeable. And we will then also explore the Presenter Coach report and the sort of insights that are given in it after we see a demonstration. So to begin, let's think a little bit about what reading fluency is. I'm sure as language teachers, we all know oral reading fluency is very important to be understood and to communicate effectively. And it includes three basic parts. Accuracy, in other words, reading with very few errors. Reading speed, and that would be the rate, obviously, at which someone reads. And prosody, or the skill of reading with proper intonation, phrasing, and expression. And we can see how any of those three items can affect how well someone communicates. And again, the components of fluency also include the comprehension component. So with fluency, you need to have a good grasp of vocabulary. You also need to have a grasp of phonics and phonemic awareness in order to become fluent. And you may ask why fluency is important, and I'm sure we already know this as language teachers, but if our students have inaccurate phonological awareness, it ends up slowing down their speed and accuracy in reading or reading aloud. And then in turn, they struggle to understand the content, which ultimately affects their ability to read in all subject areas. Also, all of this affects their ability to communicate clearly to others. So we can help support fluency and communication by using PowerPoint Coach. So what is PowerPoint Presentation Coach? It's a feature of Microsoft, and it uses artificial intelligence and can help people improve their speaking and presentation skills. So it gives feedback on a multitude of things, which we will talk about in a little bit. And it also can suggest ways to improve the delivery and engage the audience. So I would like to, and I'm hoping that this will work.
Rehearse with Presenter Coach in PowerPoint for the web to get real-time feedback to improve a presentation. Select Slideshow. Rehearse with Coach. select Start Rehearsing. As you speak, you'll get guidance in real time for things like not just reading your slides, filler words, potentially sensitive phrases, and more. When you're done, you'll get a report with a summary that shows pace, total time, and other ways to improve. Cool.
So that was a very, very short video highlighting some of the things that PowerPoint Coach can do. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on PowerPoint Coach. And then we'll see it in action, which is what we're all here for, I'm sure. So you can see here that I'm in PowerPoint, obviously, and this works in PowerPoint on the web. It is not in PowerPoint, your desktop app. So that is something to remember. It is also available for Windows and Android and iOS, which we'll talk about in a second. But basically for PowerPoint Coach, what you would do is you would go to your, sorry, there we go. Slideshow, just as if you were going to, you know, start your slideshow like you normally would, but you will see here that you have Rehearse with Coach. So when I click that, I then have Coach started, and you can see here that I can just start rehearsing and I can click on or off whether it shows real-time feedback. So I'm going to show you both ways. So basically, we'll start rehearsing and I'll have it show real-time feedback as we start. So here we're going to start talking. And you can see here, as I said, there are some technical considerations that you should think about. It is available on the web version of PowerPoint. It also is available for Android, Windows, iOS, and Mac OS. Speaker Coach or Presenter Coach is compatible with Microsoft Edge, Chrome, and Firefox, but do check your versions. If you have a very old version of those, you may have some trouble. So other things to think about are the fact that currently PowerPoint Coach is only available in and only understands English, and it's only available when your Office interface is set to English. So if you have your computer set to a different language, you can go in and change the setting so that it is then English interface, and then Coach will work. Coach works best with one speaker rehearsing. So if you happen to have a group of children wanting to do a speaking presentation together, that might be problematic, and it might be better if they rehearse one at a time. Coach, being artificial intelligence, it also learns as it is used. So it will add on more kinds of suggestions as it starts to learn and understand more and more with people using it. Now, you may be familiar with rehearse timings in PowerPoint Coach, in PowerPoint, but Speaker Coach is different because it doesn't add timing to your slide like rehearse timing does. The Speaker Coach is strictly for practicing and feedback, and it doesn't prepare a slideshow to be run automatically or anything like that. It's purely for practice. So you may have noticed how, you may have noticed how it has been popping up on and giving me little points of feedback in the corner of my screen. Now, if I was doing this as a practice, some people, and me included, could find that a little distracting and it may throw you off. So then your presentation is thrown off, as etc. So you may want to turn that off. So I'm going to turn it off now. So you can see again, as soon as I turn it off, I get this report. And we're going to see the report again at the end, but I'll show you again how you can turn off. So I'm going to start rehearse again. And you'll notice I can also change the settings. So if we look at the settings, I can focus in on one area if I like, or use all. So I have all of them set. I can also select what kind of content I want it to look at. And I also can look at body language. So if you're doing a virtual presentation, like I am, I could turn this on and it will then give me pointers on my body language. Am I making eye contact? Am I engaging the audience? And things like that. So that's how you can go into the settings and change these things. So you could refine it to be very focused if you like. Furthermore, you can also, as I said, I've ticked off body language, but I can just start it now. And it will ask to use my camera. So now it's going to start giving me pointers on whether I'm good with that or not. And when this screen pops up, I can just start rehearsing, or I can click off the real-time feedback. And I don't know why it doesn't want to start rehearsing. Okay, just a moment. We'll try this again. Rehearse coach. I guess it doesn't like the fact that I put the body language camera on. Something's wrong with my settings, but I don't want to waste all of our time by trying to figure that out right now. So we'll just go with turning off those real-time feedback and start rehearsing again. So with Speaker Coach, as I showed you a moment ago, you just need to open your presentation in PowerPoint in the web app, not your desktop app. Obviously, you can then sign in with your personal or school Microsoft account. And then, as I showed you on the slideshow tab, you just select Rehearse with Coach. So again, it might look slightly different depending on how you have your ribbon set up. And then it will open the slideshow into full screen, which you have seen it do. And then you can just get started. So as I said, you could have where it gives you that on-screen guidance. If that's something that you find distracting, so it's actually throwing off your presentation skills, you can turn it off and then just look at the report at the end. So what sorts of things does it look at? Well, Speaker Coach basically looks at a variety of things in three main areas. So it looks at delivery, content, and audience engagement. Now, the audience engagement, again, that looks at body language, and that is only if you have your camera and etc. set up appropriately, and then it will look at body language. So that audience engagement is optional, whether you turn that on or not. Delivery and content, as I showed you in the settings, you can be more specific and focus on a few of them or all of them. But with delivery, it looks at your pace, filler words, pitch, and pronunciation. And then in content, it looks at originality, inclusiveness, speech refinements, and repetitive words. So with pace, it is going to look at, are you speaking too fast or are you speaking too slowly? because as we know, if you speak too quickly, people don't understand the message. That lowers comprehension, and speaking too slowly also decreases comprehension, mainly through loss of engagement and interest. Filler words, again, this is something I think we all do, and it's those little habits that we have where we fill in, spaces. And a lot of times that can make us be perceived as less confident if we're always filling in with ums and ahs and so basically you want to try and learn to avoid having a lot of filler words. It can also be very distracting for your audience, so you don't want to use too many. Pitch is, again, really important in presentation skills and oral communication. If you speak completely in a monotone, it's really hard for your audience to stay engaged. So you want to try and keep their attention by emphasizing key words and phrases, adjusting your volume and pitch. And if you're working from notes or script, which many students I'm sure will, especially as they're getting used to giving presentations and might be nervous, you just want to be careful that you're not reading from the script, because that can lead you to be far more monotone and less natural. Now, pronunciation, this is a key one, I feel, when you're talking about English language acquisition, because this can really be beneficial in helping students, realize what words am I mispronouncing, and then be able to go back and learn that better and correct their mispronunciations of certain words. Obviously, pronunciation, again, that can cause the audience to misunderstand you and not understand your message. So really, really important, and helpful in how we can show our students how to try to enunciate and pronounce words more clearly. Originality. Now this, we're getting into the content section. So with this, it looks at, are you repeating things from the slide? If you're just reading the slide, that causes the audience to lose interest. When you have a presentation, you want to encourage your students that they're not just basically writing their whole speech on the slide. The slide, it should be visual more than words. And the speaking part is to expand on the words that are there. So that is a good point. And this can help students in the sense that if they are just repeating long statements from each slide, then they need to maybe rework their slides and only put down the very, very key information in little tidbits. And then their oral part will fill in the gaps. Inclusiveness. This is a really interesting function of Speaker Coach, because it can help you be inclusive, because it listens for culturally sensitive phrases. So sometimes we may have phrases that we say unintentionally or without thinking, and we probably don't mean anything by it, but it can be interpreted as sensitive, and people could become offended. So we don't want to cross into that area, obviously, as we're giving a presentation. So the coach is designed that it can look at phrasing that might be construed as sensitive or offensive in regards to disability, age, gender, race, sexual orientation, mental health, geopolitical topics that are sensitive, and profanity. So this can be very helpful as we want to make sure that we are delivering professional presentations, and we want to show our students how to be more formal in their language when they are communicating with others, as opposed to maybe how they talk with their friends. So the different types of bias that it can review, as I said, in general, these are the different areas like ethnic slurs, comments about race and sexual orientation and gender, etc. So this highlights a little bit more about what sorts of things it's looking for specifically. Speech refinements. This is where a speaker coach can advise you on whether you're being rather wordy, you're using euphemisms, you don't have proper agreement in your noun phrases, maybe you're using too much slang and informal language. So this can really help, again, polish a presentation so that you are delivering something that is succinct and formal in tone, and that people are going to enjoy listening to. It will also pick up if you're being rather repetitive. Again, I think we all have our little handful of words or phrases that we use all the time. And again, these are something we sometimes use unconsciously. So this is great because speaker coach can pick up on that. And since we use these things a lot of times unconsciously, until it's brought to our attention, it's very hard to correct. So speaker coach can help you understand that you are using this certain phrase over and over and over again. And then you can start to think about and become more aware that you are using that repetition. Now, it is a little different than filler words. Filler words are those ones where we don't like silence or we are thinking. So a lot of times we fill that in with a sound like or those sorts of things. Repetitive language is a little different. Again, this might be, and you may have heard this on media and television and movies, etc., where we might notice a lot of people use like. And all of a sudden, 4 words in one sentence is the word like. Like, I really wanted to say like this. I have a lot of students that do that, and that can be very distracting. So using that word like is repetitive language. Obviously, there are many others. That was just one example. And as I said, you could turn the body language feature on so that the coach can look at your nonverbal communication. As I mentioned, it will look at your mannerisms, eye contact, your distance from the camera and lighting, etc. It will even look at, dress and posture. So this is great if you have your webcam set up, etc., that you can then look at, do you have distracting body mannerisms? Like if you sit there and are always flicking your fingers or bouncing your foot, and things like that, which if you are in front of an audience can become very, very distracting. And if you're doing it as a virtual, it's nice because it will tell you whether your distance from the camera could be improved, you need more or less lighting, or changing your lighting and that kind of thing. So really helpful if you are delivering a presentation, as opposed to just practicing your language acquisition, and that kind of thing. This can be really, really helpful. So I would like you to think about, how could you use Speaker Coach in your classroom? But before we do that, I'm going to end and we're going to talk about the report that's generated. So as I escape from giving the presentation, you can see here, it gives me a full report. So overall summary, it says, I've spent how long and how many slides I went over. Obviously, you remember I stopped it in the middle, so it ended up with 2 reports, but we'll just look at this one. It tells me that my pace is really good. So that's great. I'm really happy with that. Fillers. Here, I can hit learn more. And one moment, if someone could let me know if that followed my screen. Kalyana, can you see
I can. Yes,
a new
yes.
page that says suggestions from speaker coach?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to double check. So here I can learn more about my filler words. And this is really great too, because this is where our students can get that immediate feedback. You know, we often don't have time if we have a lot of students and they're all rehearsing. It's hard to have time to give individual feedback to each student as they're practicing. You're only hearing snippets, perhaps. Maybe they're practicing a lot at home. So this is great because they can get immediate feedback with this report and understand where they need to improve. And it gives them, how do you improve? It's great to know that, yeah, you used a lot of ums, but then how do I get suggestions about, well, what do I do about that? So when we hit learn more on the report, it takes us to pages similar to this, where it can give you some pointers about your delivery. So here you can see it outlines how to look at how do you improve your pace. So it tells you speaker coach recommends that you speak at a rate of 100 to 165 words a minute. So that is an easy processing speed for the audience. So people speak at different rates, but basically that's the rate it's looking for. Then it also tells you how it looks at measuring the rates, but then it tells you, how can I improve? Recommendations. Well, one, take that deep breath. When we're nervous, we tend to speak faster. So if we take that deep cleansing breath first, slow ourselves down and breathe, then we can calm ourselves down and speak at a better pace. And that's been shown, that breathing has been shown neurologically and psychologically and physiologically, that just taking that slow breath in and out actually does cause calming. Okay, so it's not just that old wives' tale. It does work. So again, planning transitional phrases to move to the next slide. That might help you avoid doing those fillers. Okay, so you can see how it gives you really good recommendations for each of the areas. I want to fix how many filler words I use. Again, take that deep breath, make sure you're comfortable with the material. A lot of times those fillers come in when we forget what we're saying next or what's going on next. So the better you know your material, the less likely you are to feel the need to use fillers. And on, you can see it sends you to one specific page that can give you different recommendations about how you're doing. So if we go back to our report now, you can see I used some fillers and it tells me specifically which ones. there's that like. Remember, I used that as an example. And we'll go over to the right now and look at pitch. So here I have, basically, I have varied my pitch quite well. So if it stayed a flat line, that would be a problem. That would be very monotone. If we continue looking over here, I can get a graph of my pace over time. So I know if I perhaps slowed down or sped up too much and on any particular slide, which might indicate to me I'm more nervous at that point, or perhaps I'm more confident for some slides and less for others. So that might be something to think about. Repetitive language. You can see apparently I have some language I use over and over again, like obviously. So I could work on that. Pronunciation, again, we found some words I should practice. And inclusiveness, I've done a fabulous job with inclusiveness, so I'm very happy with that. Again, a couple slides, I read a little more from the slide than it likes to see. And that might change depending on the style of presentation you're giving. But as a general rule, you don't want to just read your slides. And speech refinements, it even goes into helping me rephrase certain sentences. And it will tell me what slide I went wrong on. So basically, this is really, really helpful material. And again, I could then go and rehearse again. It would be nice, this is my only comment about how to improve on Reader Coach, is making this report printable. That would be a really great thing. You could do a screen capture, because it would be nice to then see progression of improvement over time. So that's one thing that I would like to see incorporated. But you can't, to get around that, again, taking a screenshot is something that then the student could then see their improvement over time, and which would be very beneficial. So there is our rehearsal. So can you think of ways that you could use Speaker Coach in your classroom? And I see we have loads and loads of comments in the chat, which I haven't been keeping up with. So if there are certain questions that were posed, perhaps, I don't.
Lynn, there is no question so far. It is all appreciations.
Oh, wonderful. I'm very glad. So I would love to actually hear if this sparked any, inspiration or ideas of how would you use it specifically in your classroom situation? How can you see it being used? Maybe we could put those sorts of comments in the chat, because I always find people are so innovative and creative, and this could help all of us use this more effectively in our classes.
Are you asking the question for the audience? Christina ma'am?
Yes, please, audience, put your ideas in the chat. How will you use this in your classroom? What creative things can you come up with?
Anyone can give your reflection, please. Anyone?
Oh, related to PBL, that would be great. Yes.
They're mentioning very informative session, very helpful. And another one, Doreen asking from Ghana, we should use this feature to teach speaking and presentation skills to high school students. I would normally record my students and then we analyze after the lesson. But this one would be better. So people are pouring out appreciations. And Nirmala from Malaysia, ESL learners will improve their language comprehension as well. Wow. So asking open-ended sessions. So anyone would like to share voice message? I mean, you can come and you can unmute yourself. You can raise your hand. We will unmute yourself. Okay. Vishnu sir, anyone want to speak? Say anything directly. One person, 1 minute, or you can pose the mention. Yes, you got some questions.
Mm. Oh, I do see one question. How does speaker coach work in action when used by 25 students in one room? That could be slightly problematic. So I would recommend definitely you want to have them more in a quiet area. So helping the students, teaching the students about PowerPoint Coach and how to use it, one, because then they could possibly use it at home to practice. Also, having them maybe a small group go somewhere that is quiet and then they quieter, as opposed to trying to have 25 students speaking all at once. The mics are going to pick up a whole bunch of stuff. Another thing that you can do is I have seen many teachers do this in relation to recording like little mini speeches on Flipgrid, for example. They have used basically, if you picture a box, and they basically can line the box with foam or a blanket all in the box. And then if you set the tablet inside the box and the student then speaks, it's basically almost like a sound barrier. So very cheap to make, you know, just a cardboard box and then line it with a bunch of foam, or as I said, a blanket material, etc. It acts as a buffer. So then if the tablet is set inside the box and the opening is facing, you know, the speaker, then the speaker can talk and the microphone isn't picking up all the extraneous noise in the room. So that's one option that you could, you know, create 4 or 5 of these boxes, and then students could take turns doing their practice. So that's one way around having a lot of students in one room trying to do it. So in a French-speaking country, as I said, the coach only works on if your interface is English. So you do have to change your settings in your computer to have it as an English interface as opposed to another language. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking.
There is another question.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it wouldn't check student participation. It's just going to analyze the speaker and whether they, well, I guess you could look at it that way, but I think it would be difficult to do, you know, pass the computer around, so to speak, in a live classroom to try and reflect on each person's participation. But definitely you could try it. It could work. Now, it's not going to analyze a lot of content, like per se. It does analyze content, but like not the quality of your content, for example. So again, you could use it to help you analyze a student's PowerPoint, but they have to say everything. So it's going to analyze their speech and what they say. So basically, that's another thing that I thought would be useful if you could print out the rehearsal that would be really helpful as a teacher, because I could use that as, formative assessment and diagnostic assessment to help me then know, where do I need to focus my next lesson? I notice, okay, here I have my 10 students, and 10 of them all are really having trouble with this one area that PowerPoint coach has picked up. Well, now I can look back and go, I'm going to have a focus session. So it's almost one of those things where I'd like to say, okay, I want everyone to do a screen capture of your report and print it or send it to me, because then that helps me analyze, how is my class doing? And then I can look at each of their individual reports and see, are there areas where I could do a little focus lesson with the whole class? Or I could do a little focus lesson with small groups. Here, this small group is having a lot of trouble with pace, for example. So what's going on there? How can I help them with pace? I could have a little focus lesson. So the different ways that you could use it. I really hope they do make it where you could print the rehearsal, the report. But anyway, that remains to be seen. But you can get around it, as I said. I think it could be a really useful diagnostic tool.
There's another question from
Yeah.
Mohammed. How do you use the body language through speaker coach?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How do we use the body language through speaker coach?
Okay, so body language. So I'm going to share my screen again and just go back and show you. So here, when we go to the coach and I add body language, and I go, all right, so except it doesn't like what I'm doing for some reason, which is odd, because I have, that's why. So I haven't given it my camera permissions for PowerPoint coach to look at my use my camera. So that's what's going on with that. So if we go to I would have to go to my settings. This is another way that you can get to PowerPoint coach. So you'll notice you can go to slideshow in the menu, and here you can also go up here where you have your present button and do the drop down, and you can do rehearse with coach. So basically I would need to go and change my settings to give PowerPoint permission to use my camera. Somehow I missed that, and it would take me a minute to play with that to figure it out. So I apologize for that. But that's what you would want to do then, is basically make sure that you have your camera set so that PowerPoint can use it, and then the body language camera would work. So I apologize for not having that sorted prior to the session. It was working the other day and now it's not. So and I don't want to take up your time troubleshooting. So
There's one more question. Someone is asking, Avis is asking, how can I make my listener focus on what I have present in PPTX?
So again, that would be engagement from the audience. I believe that's what you're talking about. How can I have my listeners more focused on my presentation? And again, that goes down to your presentation style and your delivery. So that's what PowerPoint Coach is going to help with. It's going to tell you if your pace is off, you're going to lose your audience. If your pronunciation is off, your audience is not going to understand, and they're eventually going to not want to listen anymore. So practicing with the coach and reading those suggestions that it gives can help you then try and correct any of those areas that subsequently would throw an audience off and have them become less engaged. A really big one, pace and your pitch are really, really, really key in keeping an audience's attention, and obviously the content. So I'm sure you can have as much tone and pitch and pace as you want, but if you're talking about something that's really, really dry, it's just going to be really, really dry. So you have to think of ways to spice it up, you know? So I think, and again, practicing, being comfortable with your material. If you are not confident, it comes through and it actually makes your audience nervous for you. I know I have sat in audiences where you can tell very much that the speaker is really, really nervous, and you almost sit there in the audience and clench for them. So that also makes it really hard then to engage, because I'm now more focused in on the stress that I'm feeling than on the message itself. A little tip, nothing to do with PowerPoint Coach, but smiling is also, again, this has been proven neurologically and physiologically. Brain science is so fascinating. If you are the speaker and you smile at your audience, it is a natural human reaction to smile back. And when someone smiles at us, what's it do? It makes us feel better. It makes us a little calmer. It relieves us. And so it's one of those things where you can kind of say, you can fake your way to success, forcing yourself to smile at the audience will have them smiling back at you, and it will actually help you become more calm and confident to then go on and deliver your presentation. So really great if you're nervous. And I know when you're nervous, you may not want to smile because you're not feeling it. But if you kind of, okay, this is the one thing I can do, I can fake it till I make it and force myself to smile. And it becomes a reciprocal effect between you and your audience. A little harder to do on a virtual environment, especially when a lot of times when we have people that, you know, they keep their cameras turned off and that kind of thing. But that's a little tip I learned, and I thought it was really cool. And I tell my students when we're doing presentations all the time, smile, it'll come back to you, and it will help.
Yeah,
Right.
we can go ahead for the next session. Christina, ma'am, carry on.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. It was really wonderful and very thought-provoking. It had deep insight, and you told us how body contact, pronunciation, intonation, and the best thing was smile. Fake it till you make it was a wonderful tip, which I think all of us as teachers definitely would be using it. I'm sure many of us teachers are using it. Smile, because that is the most important thing. Once you smile, you can always capture your audience.
Yeah,
Then
exactly.
the next thing, the content plays a second part. So thank you for this wonderful session, ma'am. And hopefully we shall try to implement this.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation, and thank you so much for so many lovely comments. I appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.
Please wait, ma'am. Selfie time, teachers and educators, please, I request all of you to switch on your cameras and put on your bright smile.
Everyone, please open your cameras. We just want to see your beautiful smiling faces. Just now, Miss Lynn has shared, we have to keep a smile always. And everyone has closed the windows. Of course, you're in the Saturday mode, but still, we would like to see your beautiful faces. Even you posted so many beautiful questions. So let us see your faces also. I think, can you make it fast? Nimla ma'am, are you taking the
Somebody is telling that
shots?
their videos are disabled.
Okay, 1 second. Vishnu sir, please look into this. Vishnu sir,
Yes, can you check it again? It's anybody.
everyone, please. Yes, they can open. Thank you, Vishnu sir. Yes, I can see all of you. Everyone. Yes. Please open fast the cameras. We have only almost we are reaching time. 5 minutes more. We have to finish the session. Yes. Nemla ma'am, can you help me out the screenshots? Okay. Smile. Screen 1. Screen 2. No one is open. Screen 3. No one. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So,
All right, moving on, we next move to the next part of the session. I request our president, Dr. Kalyani Rao, to please take the stage.
thank you so much, Mrs. Christina, ma'am. And I would like to thank even Lynn. She approved my request and given me the time, the early morning of Canada. But though it's a weekend for her, and I always appreciate her patience for giving such a beautiful, resourceful information on PowerPoint presentation. We normally give presentation, we'll come back, but so many things we are missing today. So we learned a lot. Thank you so much, Lynn. This is really helpful for even everyone. We're going to present and this education, business, a career, even for students. Especially, I request all the teachers, please transfer this information, the knowledge to the students. If you require any lengthy sessions, let me know, write to me, we'll plan something else. Okay. So before I go for the next this felicitation, I would like to give a small information about our organization members. It was just missed out previously. This is our, I think you all can view. 1 minute. I'm just going to share it. Because in the first session, we just want to know what is the organization chart. I think, Christina ma'am, will you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay. These are our new team formed, and these are our organization chart. President, Vice President, Academic, Administrative Departments, Media Affairs, Economy and Marketing, and then IT Tech. And we have state coordinators, district coordinators, and then IELTA members. We have separate team of National Advisory Team who are going to help us in the advisors and going to support us in the future. And this is the new team, so that's why I'm introducing to you all. Is Mr. Abdul Salam, Vice President, and then Professor Pradyumna Singh is from Academic Director, and Mr. Vishnu Nair, who is now here, and he's IT and Tech Director, and Mrs. Christina, you're all watching her, she's Administrative Director, and then Ayappa Raj Mani is in British Council right now in Chennai, so Economy Marketing Director, and Gaurav Sharma is the newly appointed Director of Affairs, and this is our new team. Thank you so much. And then coming to felicitation, biggest part which we're going to share our gratitude is the felicitations. Of course, Lynn, you are really helpful for us today. Everybody poured out the information, and whatever you given, the reflection is 100% today we have seen. Hopefully the screen is visible.
Yes, yes, it is.
So this is a small gratitude from us, token of love for you, Lynn. Accept this because in recognition of this IELTA in English, sorry, International English Language Teachers Association India certificate of recognition we are presenting to Lynn Thomas and recognition of your exemplary delivery of knowledge transfer and innumerable presentation skills as our honorable speaker today during IELTA India's first webinar series and titled as Develop Oral Skills with a PowerPoint Presenter Coach. You are the best presenter coach, I believe, today, and held on 15th April 2023 virtually from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We highly appreciate your invaluable contribution with valuable insights and accept our heart full of gratitude. Awarded this certificate on 15th April 2023 virtually via Zoom. Will mail you very shortly. And this duly signed by our prestigious president of IELTS International, Dr. Neil Arivalo Alcantara, and Dr. Glenn. She is the academic director of IELTA, and myself, Dr. Kalyani Rao, IELTA India president, and then Professor Pradyuman Singh Raj is IELTA India academic director. Thank you so much, Lynn. This is a small token. I'll mail you very soon. And coming to the moderator. Sorry. Yeah, coming to the moderator, I would like to appreciate Mrs. Christina Michael for taking this initiative, and she came up being a moderator. And next time onwards, we request the moderators to come forward and help us, and also enhance your skills of communication in midst of all of us. So this is for Mrs. Christina Michael. Lourdes Christina Michael, in recognition of your understanding and exemplary contribution as a moderator for the first webinar series organized by IELTA India, titled Develop Oral Communication Skills with PowerPoint Presenter Coach by the Honorable Speaker Lynn Thomas, held on 15th August 2023 virtually from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We highly appreciate your support in moderating this virtual session, and please accept our heartfelt gratitude. Awarded this certificate on 15th April 2023 via Zoom. Already it was signed duly by the respective international president, Dr. Neil Arvalo Alcantara, and also Dr. Glenn, academic director of IELTA, and myself, Kalyani Rao, IELTA India president, and also academic director, Professor Pradyuman Raj Simha, IELTA India academic director. And
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And we would like to even send you all. This is the participation certificate. We are going to give the link at the end of the session after vote of thanks. Please be available. We'll be mailing you all within 7 working days because we have a huge participation registrations happen. So we will send as early as possible the certificates. So please do not miss the presentation link, which you're going to post it at the end of the session. Try to copy and paste on your desktop, and so that it will stay 15 minutes active after the session. And coming to the next level, there is a person who is waiting here, who is my close friend, and he's a very, very unique personality, which I've been gone through this years. You've never seen a director of a school who comes in a different, I can say, like, he works as it's not like a director. He works like a student in the school. He mingle with the nursery to 12th grade students. I've never seen. He's a good researcher, creative storyteller, and sometimes suddenly he'll come in a crocodile disguise. Sometimes he dress up like a Superman or Batman. And he always be creative. All his students always comes and they're going to take away all the prizes from my projects. So I always feels envy for his achievement, because all the students are always competitive to other schools. So I just want to welcome who's none other than Dr. Dari Dakanai from Philippines, who is going to give a vote of thanks, and he's the guest of speaker of today. I think I've given a very less introduction about you, Dr. Dari. He is a director of academic and operations of school, St. Patrick's, Quezon City of Philippines. Am I right? So he is having around 20 years of experience. He is a global speaker, researcher, and what else he want to do it, I don't know. So many innovative things he used to do. So now the floor is yours. Give us a best word of thanks for our audience and the speaker. Thank you, Dr. Dad.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kalyani Rao, and to our distinguished members of IELTA India, dear Miss Lynn Thomas, and to our dear educators and even students who are present here. We wanted to take a moment to express our heartfelt thanks for the wonderful presentation on developing oral communication skills with PowerPoint presenter coach that you gave. Your knowledge and expertise in this area shone through, and we learned so much from your insightful tips and strategies. Your presentation was clear, engaging, and informative, and we appreciated the way you used real and very easy examples to help illustrate your points. The interactive exercises you led us through were particularly helpful in reinforcing the key concepts that you have shared. We feel much more confident now in our ability to communicate effectively, both in our personal and professional life. Thanks to your valuable insights that you have shared, your passion for the topic was evident throughout the presentation, and it was inspiring to see how much you truly care about helping others improve their communication skills. Once again, thank you so much for your time, your expertise, and commitment to helping others, teachers, educators, and students. Your presentation was truly outstanding, and we are grateful to have had the opportunity to learn from you. Thank you very much, Lynn, to our dear teachers, educators across the world and in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Daddy, in a very, very special way, as I feel that you have put all the points in a nutshell. So it was very, very nice. And it's a great honor that you are here present with us. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Kalyani Rao.
No, it's your turn. You have to say thank you. You have done. And
Yeah,